Hey guys, welcome to the first vlog of Vlogmas slash bookmas. So what I'm going to be doing this month is I'm going to be sharing the books that I'm reading in these vlogs and then not doing a wrap up for the month. I may end up doing a wrap up at the end of the month for like the books that I read over Christmas and like the week after. I'm not sure how that's gonna work out, but I'm just thought I would give this a try, not doing like an actual wrap up. So I did just finish A Quilt for Christmas. This is the book that won out for my Christmas try chapter. I read the first chapter of 9 Christmas books and I liked this one the most. I did a whole video of that over on Patreon, sharing my thoughts on some of the, all of the first chapters. Some of them were positive, some of them not so much. But I liked this one the best. It was very different. So in this one we follow a woman named Vera who one day her next door neighbor, I guess she lives in like a condo, this 4-year-old girl comes to her door and says her mom needs help. Her mom's in pain, so Vera takes them to the hospital and gets to know the family a little bit through this because there's a bit of a healing journey with the mom and they need some help. And the little 4-year-old girl asks Vera to make a very complicated quilt for her mom for Christmas, and the family doesn't have much, and so Vera sets out to do that and asks for some help from random strangers kind of along the way. And it's a really sweet Christmas book. It's really short. I think it was like 160, 170 pages, something like that. So it's a fairly quick read. I read this, like half of it, I think, during the Christmas Read With Me video that I filmed. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I know of Melody Carlson. She's a very prolific writer. I think she's written like 150 books. Yeah, more than 250 books. And a lot of them are in the Christian like teen genre, but I've never read any of them. I'm actually really curious about some of those. At least I don't think I've ever read any. And I know she has quite a few Christmas books. Most of them are like more romance centered. This one has like a very, very slight little romance theme, which just made me excited because all the other books that I started were very romance heavy, and I'm okay with that a little bit more around Christmas time, but not too much. So I was really excited about this one and really did enjoy it. Now the book that I have been reading for a while that I hope to finish, today is November 30th actually. I would like to finish today, I'm not sure I'll have time. So hopefully tomorrow, December 1st, is Sense and Sensibility. So I am on chapter 40. I have, I think, like 90-ish pages left. I'm doing a very low-key buddy read with this over on my Patreon. Every, I don't know, number of chapters I'm like popping in and sharing some of my thoughts. Yeah, so I don't want to say a whole lot about it yet. I'll wait until I'm done, I think. The only thing I'll say is I'm finding this one a bit more of a struggle to get into than Jane Austen's other works. And I'm not a huge Jane Austen fan. I do think that I just feel like she's a writer that I should read all of her works by because she is so well loved, and I have enjoyed some of them. In January or shortly after, I do want to do a ranking of all of Jane Austen's books. I just think I want to reread Emma first. Then I will have read, currently this is my 4th Jane Austen that I've been reading this year or have read this year. So if I reread Emma, that will be 5. And there's one that's not worth rereading that I already know where it's going to stand. And then I want to do a video all about that. I kind of want to do a little bit more of that, I think, in the next year, like highlighting some of my favorite authors. So I'm going to be reading this and then doing some Christmassy things in the next week. And I'm going to take you along, share about the books, and share some other Christmassy things. Okay, a little reading check-in. First of all, I'm like so close to being done Sense and Sensibility. I really wanted to sit down and finish it before filming this clip, but I'm in the middle of filming a few videos for Vlogmas. This year I'm doing filming on one day, editing on another day, and I think that will work better for me, but we'll see later in the month. Anyway, I have, what do I have left here? I'm on page 310 out of 333, so I'm so close. I don't have much to say though. I'm gonna just report on that one when I'm done. Then yesterday I went to the doctor, spent some time in the waiting room, and I started Agatha Christie's When to Buckle My Shoe. I think this is going to be my Read Your Bookshelf Challenge book for this month because it has a mostly white cover. I think I'm going to read some other ones too, but I just feel like I really want to check off a few things off my list for this month. This is also my book for the Buzzwordathon because it's got numbers, and I also am trying to read an Agatha Christie every month, so I'm like just triple checking off boxes with this book. So it starts out, I was very confused by the beginning, and part of it might be like sitting in the doctor's office. I feel like my mind was not quite focused on the book too, but we start out in a dentist's office, and everybody is not very happy in a dentist office. Our detective in the story is Poirot, and he is talking about how this one guy looks like a murderer. No, he looks even worse than the murderers he's arrested before. And then after he goes and gets his like teeth fixed, he's like, oh, the guy doesn't look that bad. Like, he just was dreading the dentist so much that everything seemed worse to him. And there was this interaction between these ladies who were having, one of them was having an issue with her tooth. And this just cracked me up because I feel like dentist, doctor, this is how things feel. I like literally laughed while I was like maybe quietly laughed. Sitting in the doctor's waiting room here, there's this interaction between these ladies. But really, you know, it doesn't ache at all. Nonsense. You told me you hardly slept a wink last night. No, I didn't. No, indeed. But perhaps now the nerve has actually died. All the more reason to go to the dentist. We all like to put it off, but that's just cowardice. Better make up one's mind and get it over with. Yeah, I feel like that's often how things are. Just get it done. So I guess Poirot goes to the dentist. Later that day he gets a call because the dentist has committed suicide or been murdered. They don't know, and they saw his name on the appointment book, so he's pulled into the mystery. And so far I'm enjoying it. I'm on page 66 of this edition, which has like 225 pages. So it's going pretty fast. I'm not trying to solve anything. I think we have a bit of a cast of suspects and stuff here, but I'm just along for the ride. So this one was also published, there's so many different names for her books. This one was also published as An Overdose of Death and The Patriotic Murders. And who knows what else it's been published as. But yeah, so that's what I'm currently reading. Definitely gonna finish this probably after I'm done my filming. And then I'll probably check in tomorrow. And then we'll see what else I get done. The only downside to Bookmas is there's less time to actually read, but it's always fun. Just a quick little update. I just finished filming a Christmas recommendations live. You guys gave a bunch of good Christmas recommendations that I had either forgotten or very curious to read. So last night I read All Is Calm, the first of these two Christmas novellas by Colleen Coble, and it was like mediocre. I need to give it a star rating yet. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Like, I don't even think it was quite a 3. Is Christian suspense quite predictable? When you take a typical Christian suspense and you shove it into a 100-page story. Now I feel like I'm losing my voice. Okay, when you shove it into a 100-page story, it's condensed, which means like the romance side of things is just instant, like insta-love on steroids. I did like the foster care element that they had in here though. And yeah, I don't know, I didn't really enjoy the first one, so I don't think I'm gonna read the second one, All Is Bright, although from the back it does sound like it's not at least insta-lovey. But then on the live, everybody that voted, I gave them a few different books, Christmas books that I might read. Everybody voted for this one. So, The Afterlife of Holly Chase. I read the first chapter of this in Patreon vlog. I read the first chapter of 9 different Christmas books actually. And yeah, this is kind of like Scrooge retelling the first chapter. The main character gets visited by the 3 ghosts on Christmas Eve, and she decides to not change her life, and then on December 31st she dies, and then she finds out she is now part of Project Scrooge. Sorry for my lack of voice, apparently I am talking too much today. Yes, and then she's part of Project Scrooge, which I'm assuming means she's going to be like one of the ghosts. I don't really know where this is going to go, but that's what happens in the first 20 pages of the book. We jump ahead 5 years after that, and I don't know. So I think I'm going to read this. I'm kind of in the mood for like a non-Christmas book a little bit too, so I'm not 100% sure what else I'm going to pick up. I'll jump in a day or two and let you know what I'm reading and how it's going. Do a quick little check-in. I am on page 154 of When to Buckle My Shoe. I'm not sure what I think of this one yet. Maybe it depends how it ends. There was a big thing that happened that I was able to predict. I think I said that last time. I read a little bit more last night and this morning, just before church. I had a little bit of time. Curious to see how this ends, because I feel like I'm not trying to solve it, but the cast of characters is pretty small, so I feel like I should be able to solve it even without trying, and I can't. So we'll see how this ends and what I think of it from there. It's definitely not my favorite of hers, which is good because I just finished filming a list of my favorite and least favorite Agatha Christie. So hopefully this is somewhere in the middle and doesn't sway the balance. But then after that, I might not pick up The Afterlife of Holly Chase because I just gave this as one of my options over on Patreon. So I do a 1 book specific vlog over there each month for my Windy Poplars tier. And this one's currently winning with 50% of the votes, and then the rest of the votes are split between a couple other books. So I think I'm gonna go finish, this book right away. That shouldn't take me very long to read, especially since it's not the evening, so I'm not going to fall asleep right away. But then I'm not sure what I'm going to pick up next. I'm just going to finish this and see what I'm in the mood for. That sounds the best. So we'll do that, and then I won't pick up this book or the other options that I gave until I know which one actually wins out. On to the last little update for this vlog, and then later today, I think, or tomorrow, I'll be starting the next one. So where are we all at here? I finished When to Buckle My Shoe, and I was right. It's very middle of the road, which is good because later this week I will have a best of Agatha Christie and a worst of Agatha Christie. And there's something stuck in my eye. Okay, well, my eye might just spontaneously water. Yeah, so the ending, it's like I knew there was things happening, but I couldn't put it all together. And then when the ending came, I was like, I don't think I could have guessed that. There were parts that I guessed, parts that I didn't guess, surprises along the way. I definitely don't feel like it was our best work. I don't feel like it was our worst. It was just mediocre in my opinion. Then I read a little bit from Muses from the Moon. So this is by Owl Nest Publishers. It's coming out in January. And it is a Christian poetry collection by, I guess the synopsis or the little blurb is Muses from the Moon is a collection of poetry split into 4 sections that detail the trials of struggling faith. So it's new moon, waxing crescent, waxing gibbous, and full moon are the 4 different sections, and I'm only on page 22, so it's a little early to tell exactly. I'm not disliking it, I'm enjoying it. My only problem often with poetry, and it's too early to say with this for sure, I want to like modern poetry. I want to find something I can like, and so often it's very depressing. And this one's about struggling faith, so it's not surprising that it's a little bit down on that. There is an underlying hope, which I don't see in like mainstream modern poetry, which makes sense because our hope is in Christ. I'm liking this much more than all modern poetry that I've read, really. But because it is about struggling faith, I hope there's like some optimistic poems in here yet. I definitely am a bit of a poet at heart. Have dreams of one day like doing something with the poetry that I write. We'll see. That reading poetry makes me want to write poetry and actually do something with it. So it's very inspiring to read, but I will share more about this in my next reading vlog after I've finished it. I easily could have like sat down and read it all, but I'm trying to pace myself here. Attacking the plant, or the plant's attacking me, I think. Then the next thing, oh, I did attempt. This is a modern poetry book, Drop Bear, but this is by an Australian indigenous woman, and it looked cool. I heard about it on a different YouTube channel, but I couldn't even, this one poem, I couldn't even figure out what lines to read where, and it didn't make any sense to me. And a lot of her, like, how is this one? How is this a poem? Some of them are in all caps. I tried to read the first few lines of some of them, and I didn't get very far at all. So I'm not even putting this in Goodreads because I don't feel like I even gave it enough of a chance to, like, I guess I could put it on under DNF. That was a fail. Then last night I started Shatona Havig's Tarnished Silver. So this is my Christmas book of hers that I decided to read this year. Last year I read one, decided this has to be an annual thing. I have no idea how many Christmas books she actually has. I'm 34%, I'm on chapter 13, and I'm completely hooked. So our main character, her name is, oh, I'm so bad at Audrey. I'm so bad at names. She runs this bakery, and it's Christmas season, or I think it starts middle of November, goes through the Christmas season, so she's like swamped with things. And she ends up hiring a lady acquaintance to clean her apartment because she, oh my eye, because she hasn't had time to do that. Her apartment's a mess, and this lady comes across a secret. When I initially read the synopsis, I thought it was like a baking secret, but it's not. It's higher stakes secret than that. I don't want to say what it is, and then I can't say much else about the book, but I'm hooked and I need to see where well, I feel like it's gonna have a happy ending, but I want to see how she plays it out for sure. So unfortunately I was reading it last night. I read it more this morning and I had work to do, so I couldn't just sit there and read, but this is definitely, I just want to like curl up on the couch and read this book until I'm done. But I'll try to get a few things done first, and then I'll do that. So my next vlog will have like my final thoughts on Tarnished Silver, but so far it's definitely one that has me hooked, and I don't know what else I'm going to be getting to reading in the next week. I guess you'll just have to watch the next vlog for that. So I will see you guys again tomorrow for another video, and then next week I'll have another vlog up.